A day to honor and to reflect. Today is the International Transgender Day of Remembrance. An annual observance started more than 2.5 decades ago to honor transgender people lost in acts of anti-transgender violence. Joining us in studio are two leaders in the 2S LGBTQ plus community and happen to also be in provincial politics. Uzoma Asagwara, Manitoba's Deputy Premier, Health Minister, the MLA for Union Station, who is also non-binary. Logan Oxenham represents Kirkfield Park and the province's first openly transgender MLA, both part of the NDP caucus and both in studio. Welcome to the program. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Logan, you rose in the legislature today to speak about the Transgender Day of Remembrance. Talk more about the words that you chose to say.
Well, Faith, there was only 2 minutes to stand up and try to fill that 2 minutes with a sense of urgency, a little bit of optimism. But the reality of what's happening today across the country and around the world to trans and gender diverse folks. So, I thought long and hard about every single word that went into what I said today, and hopefully captured, the feeling of the moment.
What were you hoping to, the message that you were hoping to send in that statement?
Yeah, well, I think calling out, what's wrong, and I think that's important. That needs to be said, but also providing hope and an example of, powering through all of that hate and, recognizing that we are in positions of extraordinary privilege, but the work that it took to get here and the shoulders that we stand on to be where we are. So, yeah, really wanted to convey that to folks.
The Progressive Conservative Party leader, Abi Khan, had this to say about your statement. We've edited it for length. Let's have a listen.
It was a statement on the notwithstanding clause, an attack on the Alberta government and the supposed good things that this NDP government has done. That was a very politicized member statement. It's unfortunate that they felt they had to go that way, but that's their call on that side of the house.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think it just teaches me that there's still a lot to learn. Folks still have a lot to learn about us. And unfortunately, it just really shows how stuck that party is and their leadership is. And, there's a real opportunity to learn through all of this. And I think they're really missing the mark, and I think they're missing that opportunity. And it's really sad because, we as a community have so much to offer and we give so much. And I think, I just wish people could see that more.
Uzoma, you spoke this week about the Alberta Premier's plan to use the notwithstanding clause in bills that affect trans and gender diverse youth and adults. What message were you hoping to send as you spoke about that?
We know that the actions being taken in Alberta are very, very concerning. They also have very real consequences. There are folks who are actively moving and relocating to Manitoba where they know they can be safe or they can raise their children safely and not be denied access to basic, essential health care. And, here in Manitoba, we have a premier and we have a government that has been very clear. We will support essential health care. We understand that gender-affirming health care is life-saving care, and that we will stand with trans and two-spirit communities so that they know they're part of this beautiful blanket that is one Manitoba. And that's something that as a province we should be proud of. And it's something that we hope other jurisdictions will take note of and potentially follow our approach. The
Premier has said that he hopes to reintroduce Bill 50, the Constitutional Questions Amendment Act. Are you able to say when the government plans to reintroduce it?
We are certainly going to be reintroducing that legislation. And I do think it's important for folks to take a look at what's happening right now, where we see jurisdictions where division and hateful rhetoric are really on the rise and have a massive negative impact on children, on families and communities. Our approach here is about not only protecting human rights, but recognizing that when we uplift all communities and celebrate one of our greatest strengths as a province, which is our diversity, it strengthens us as a province. And it's really something that I hear on a regular basis from people across the country is being celebrated. And we need to see that from all elected officials, not only in other jurisdictions, but here at home.
Logan, you hold a pretty prominent role in government, very visible role. How do you think that visibility has had an impact on 2S LGBTQ plus Manitobans?
Well, I'm so fortunate to have folks reach out directly and just, I've had letters from children, I've had letters from seniors, I've had letters from folks who just really, are so impacted by the simplicity of just being affirmed as who they are and what such a difference that makes for them. And so it's, I just want to carry that forward.
On a day like today, Transgender Day of Remembrance, where does this day land for you?
It's a tough one, Faith. I'm a pretty optimistic person. I really like to, see things, through a positive view. But, things are really hard for gender diverse, trans, and two-spirit folks right now in the world. And so I have to sit with that and reconcile those feelings. I've had personal close friends who've passed away because they feel like, I don't even know why, but I know from talking to them that they've really struggled with the hatred and the division, and it really affects people.
People around me have consistently talked about how rough it feels right now for transgender youth around the world. What have you seen, Uzoma, and heard around you that might provide hope?
Well, certainly here in Manitoba, we have made it very clear. And I think it says a lot. It's a big deal when you have a premier of a province say that if you're a trans kid or two-spirit kid in this province, your government has your back. And that means something. I talked to a kid who has relocated to Manitoba with their family, and I connected with them very recently. They're a teenager, and they're just thrilled that they can go to school every day and live their life and know that no matter where they go, they're going to be respected. That's life-changing. And that's what I'm proud of as a province, but we know there's more work to do, particularly on a day like today. We have to keep taking action and keep making sure we do our best to pull people together and not pull people apart in this province.
What did they say and their parents say about why they came here? Of all the provinces, why this place?
Well, friendly, beautiful Manitoba. They actually specifically came here because about 2 years ago, even before we came into government, they saw that we were talking about standing with trans communities unapologetically. They've seen us talk about gender-affirming healthcare as just being healthcare, and we're going to invest in it as such. They want to play sports here. They want to play basketball. That kind of lit me up because I'm a former ball player myself. So I said, absolutely, bring your talents to Manitoba. But it's really about fundamentally being safe, being respected, and knowing that you're going to have the support you need to thrive.
Logan, how do you plan to reflect on this day? It's complicated for many folks. For you, what have you chosen to do today?
Well, I was pretty intentional about bringing community together. So we had a gathering at the legislature this morning and into the afternoon, and it was really beautiful to just be with folks, who are in the same kind of struggle and, going through a lot of the same things. So, I'm immersing myself in community as much as I can today. I'm going to the Human Rights Museum right after this just to be with community and to, sit there and really reflect on what this day means, especially now.
We often hear the word the word politicized. Your gender identity, who you both are, have been politicized. What do you take from that, either Uzoma or Logan?
We know fundamentally as members of a beautiful...
I know you're smiling because of
that. It's because these things are political. When you have political parties, when you have the leader of the opposition party in Manitoba engage in an act of harm on a day where we're meant to remember and reflect on those who we've lost in our communities, Manitobans we've lost due to anti-trans violence, that's a bad political decision to make. And our gift as being legislators is that we get to represent to all Manitobans that your right to exist being protected and affirmed means that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. And to me, that's really powerful. There's policies, there's all kinds of political things we can talk about, but first and foremost, as people, we're blessed to be in these roles of service and to hopefully serve as an example to people of what we can achieve and do together when we support people in living authentically.
Logan, what did you hope the PC leader would have said instead?
Sorry. I wish, he would have acknowledged the harm that he's caused to the community and, offer, to do better. I think that's would have been nice to see. But unfortunately, we're seeing the doubling down of transphobia and a willful ignorance, I think, for people that, don't want to learn, might not necessarily have that openness to understand people.
Thank you both for coming in today.